We're speaking today with the Women's Empowerment Team of the WSS with Dr. Nancy O'Reilly. So nice to be with you. And we were just chatting about a beautiful woman named Catherine Wilkinson as well, who is a women's empowerment leader on the globe and currently that's doing a lot of work with the climate emergency. And we just both listened to one of her excellent videos she brought forward, and we were just connecting on that. And if you don't mind, Nancy, please, Dr. Nancy, would you mind saying a little bit about yourself? And again, thank you for coming here today in regards to sharing on behalf of women's empowerment work, and also connecting the dots, as Catherine did, to the excellent efforts that women can bring to not only helping with resolving climate change, but being some of the leaders within that movement to also balance and bring more balance and harmony across the globe in a way that we so need right now in all the ways that we do. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, Reagan. This is my favorite topic of all topics. Women Connect for Good. That's how this works. Women connecting for good. Working with other organizations that are doing all they can to empower and to give women gender equity in this world, because we know that women leaders and having a seat at the table can do anything. You put 5 women in a room and they can solve problems and get it done and have it ready to go, in a matter of hours. But so that's how good we are. My background is I'm a psychologist and have written several books, do podcasts, speak. But again, the biggest issue, Women Connect for Good, is women connecting and supporting one another. We've expanded that into men and women. Of course, we can't do it by ourselves. We need each other. There cannot be any divisions between men or women. We all have to come together to solve the issues. And one, of course, is the climate. And one of the other things, the biggest thing that I want to talk about too is poverty. If we ended poverty, we could end all problems. But the unique thing about women, you can stop me anytime you want, Reagan, because you know me, I'll just start going on. But the biggest thing that women do, what women do is we see the problems. We have our homes, we live in our communities, even in our workplace, we see the things that are working and the things that aren't working. So we see the big pictures, and we all see the fine tune. We can tune into the little things that are important, that if we make those changes can really make a difference. And that's where women fit in, especially when it comes to women empowerment and women gender equity. Put us in a powerful position of leadership, the power to, and things will happen. And so we need a seat at the table.
Mm-hmm. And going into that right there, we need a seat at the table. So why would you say, and how long do you think it's been going on that we haven't had a seat at the table? And why would you say that exists on this planet today? What is that?
I think, if we look at the Queen of England just passed away, what a wonderful leader she was. Many countries have had women leaders. In New Zealand, Ireland have had women leaders. The United States has not had a strong woman leader ever. And we almost had it with a recent election, but until we actually get into these leadership positions where we can deal not only with people in our own country, but other countries to solve issues, we're going to continue to have battles. We're going to continue to have wars. My guess is my thought is if more women were not controlling, but using their power to, and we're negotiating and we're sitting down at the table, we wouldn't have wars. we
Mhm.
would end poverty. We would look at climate control. We'd look at the things that we need to do to make this a better planet for us all to live on, live in, and taking care of each other. I mean, that's what we do. Women, we take care of problems.
So there's been what we're hearing you're saying, there's been a huge imbalance within women feeling that they have the power to use their voice and to be in places of position in that way, and that women do hold their unique characteristics or attributes that they hold that are just simply different than men.
Yeah.
And we're really talking about men right this second, but I think it'd be really good to bring that in, which is that we at the WSS, which is, of course, this is a WSS interview right now, World System Solutions, we're working to help bring equality across the globe to help solve and resolve climate change. We see it as one of the main puzzle pieces of the bigger picture of why there's such a massive imbalance across the globe in reference to voice, around funding, around feeling that they're getting the resources they need. And we're talking about some of the leading farmers in the world right now are women in communities around the world that have just the same amount of land as men, but their farm is reproducing far less because they can't get the funding, they can't get the resources to create the farm, right? So then the food production's lower. If we were to balance that out, right, if they were to receive the equal amount of funding and resources as men do in their farms, we'd have that much more food for all those people around the world, which relates to poverty, relates to hunger. So that's just an example. So we also hear that there just simply has been this long timeline, wasn't spoken of yet, and we're bringing it in too, is right, this very long timeline of women simply not having their seat at the table. And it is what it is. And we've gone through a long historical timeline of dominant patriarchal historical timeline, right? And so I think you see it's changing right now. It needs to change a little faster.
Look what's going on in our country right now. Look what's happening again. Every election, and right now, what's going on in the elections coming up is women's bodies, controlling women's bodies. And this has been a way, I think, for women to keep women down, is always controlling, or somebody's controlling our bodies. I don't know about you, but it's my body. What I do with my body is my choice. I get to decide what I do with that. And so many in the United States, so many places are saying, no, women don't have that choice. No matter what their circumstances, they don't have a right to choose either at birth control or, again, not a pregnancy or not a pregnancy. I mean, it's bizarre to think in 2022 that this is the big issue, and will probably be one of the largest issues that come up in the elections that are taking place. There's all kinds of elections taking place all over the country, and this is a huge issue. But again, why do we concentrate on things that are really not helping? Of course, climate control, population control, they come together. But until women are able to make choices about their bodies and their pregnancy or not pregnancies, this is one of the biggest problems in Africa. I can speak to an example because I was there several times, and we went in and we saw women who were given microloans, small amounts of money to start their own businesses. And oftentimes it was growing food and creating cafes. And these women then as they grew and they began to become self-sufficient, they had money to send their children to school, because without education, children will grow up just like their mothers did, in poverty with very few resources. So education, and they have to have uniforms, they have to have books. So the money they were making for their businesses, they were getting their kids to school, and they were also then hiring other women who could do the same thing. And we saw this happen over and over again. And then they took it into their communities, the community at large that they lived in. And then other people, they became role models and mentors for other women and girls, seeing what happens when you get education, when you're self-sufficient and you can take care of each other. And then you do think about, and of course, one of the biggest issues also besides poverty is water, clean drinking water. So women are helping women to learn how to dig wells, how to produce good water for their families, water, no disease. I mean, you're right. Climate change and climate control, and we have to. They all come together. Poverty, climate control. So where do we start? We start with education. We start with ending poverty. And I think that's you and I have both been involved with organizations that understand that. You give people, you teach them. You don't give them a fish. You teach them how to fish. And this is what we have to do with all of all these countries. But in the United States alone, one of the biggest issues is pay equity. There is no pay equity. Women who are single parents who are raising children and have to pay for childcare and other things are not able to get out of they can't get over the hump. So we've got to get things equal as far as pay, as far as jobs, as far as representation in our government and in our leadership roles. I mean, there's plenty that we're doing. I mean, there's plenty that we need to do, but those things are happening. But I think the most important thing, Reagan, that we're doing today is awareness. We're creating awareness and an understanding of how people can simply do small things to make big changes.
It's so true. So very true. And just that awareness that the small things can make big changes. We need to get that message out. And this is part of what we're doing right now. And so many women and men, women specifically, we're speaking of in regards to how overwhelmed they are by trying to just make ends meet. We're talking about poverty. It's like, they're like, what do you mean? What's climate change? I'm just barely able to get food on the table for my, and so that is the past. Like, we bringing it back to, and why would that be? What is this whole thing? Because we're in a woman's body. Like, it's so you're right. It's like looking at like, how is this still happening? We're in 2022. Here's the thing though, about reproductive health, that is, to have good education around that. So like you were saying, this education that's really lacking in so many ways. Here we are, if we're talking about the climate emergency, we're talking about women who don't have good reproductive assistance or health or knowledge or know-how or the ability to be able to choose not to have a child. They don't have birth control. They don't have access to it. So therefore, it's amazing, because one of the primary issues with the climate emergency is we have a huge, massive population that's growing, quickly, and our resources are depleting. And our fish and on the oceans are dying and being overfished, trying to meet the needs of this massive amount of people coming in so quickly because of lack of reproductive assistance in that way, and helping with birth control in these communities around the world that are definitely in poverty. So we totally agree with you and totally hear you. And what's really cool about, I know what we're working with right now is one of the primary wonderful avenues of what we're creating, which is called the Social Movement Engine, which is a massive global platform, is a lot around education. It's around distributing education worldwide freely to these communities that are suffering and that don't have access. And then one would say, well, how will they do that? They don't have a computer or they have a phone. Well, we'll make sure to figure out how to work with that. That's one of the wonderful components, let's say, of the World System Social Movement Engine, which is in construction right now. So we need this platform. We need something like that. We need a way to unify and collaborate and communicate globally at this point, because we keep talking about it and we keep sharing it to the way that we can, but it's not massive enough, it seems, because there's some change happening. But we see that with what's happening with the climate emergency, which is ramping up right now every year, that we need women more than in some way. I mean, we've worked with various components of the climate emergency. We've done a lot of work with a lot of people for a while now. And it's like this piece seems to be a huge component. We need, women are over 50% of the population.
Well, I mean, the thing that we're talking about, though, that's so important is that there are organizations like your organization, like my organization, but when we come together, we take our resources and we double, triple them. And there are many organizations, and I think that's been the key for Women Connect for Good, is that we continue to go out and find partners and collaborators that we can continue to do the work that we're doing. And, and because there really are some wonderful organizations, but if we all shared our resources and our dollars and we're working on the same issues, I mean, again, we could accomplish so much. So Women Connect for Good, we've been doing this for quite a while now. So, I mean, we go out fishing for more organizations that can do amazing things. But again, ending poverty, education, and representation. Right now, everyone should be supporting women leaders out there. There's women running for office right now. And the biggest key is money. Women that don't have money behind their candidacies don't usually win. And then there's also that lack of support. Look at the number of women that have run for offices and the number of women that that are not elected. So, I mean, every day we have to do a little, every day do a little, but again, each day, we have the Lift Women Up campaign. Every day, if we lifted another person up, if we lift as we rise, every one of these issues that we know these issues, but like you said, Reagan, we have to take care of we have to feed our families first. We have to make sure we have electricity in our houses. If we have a house and we can afford the rent for a house, and then we have to have jobs that we're able to do that with, but then we have to have transportation. So Maslow, the needs of hierarchy is first we have to have food and safety. After food and safety, then we can start looking at the things that are more important outside of ourselves. But the good thing that women are doing is that we do know that when we support each other, that we can do so many, many things. And we saw it happen in Africa over and over again. They had this huge, amazing system of sisters who were coming together, and then the community was growing, and just there was so much appreciation and so much excitement about what was going on in their communities. And this was literally women supporting one another. And of course, population control, like you said, reproductive health, reproductive services available. One of the biggest things that they had to do in Africa was make sure that girls had sanitary products so that they were able to go to school. I mean, and I mean, just the simplest things that we stop and don't think about, that keep girls from not going to school, not getting an education. And of course, pregnancy, getting married at early ages, and then child after child. This is what we've got to stop. We've got to find ways that once they're educated, once they have a voice and they're using their voice for change, many, many things will develop as well, and many other positive change will come.
So agreed. It's powerful what you share, and beautiful, and timely. It's crucial in timing. And I know that we've been doing our best to make the changes that we can, help women as we have. And we see that just simply hasn't really cut it completely yet. as they might say, there's just so much more, and there's a lot more women. I mean, I know it's shocking for women that might live in the United States, that they think, oh, women all around the world are experiencing these freedoms. They're not thinking about, what's going on in these impoverished communities and what women are really going through in different parts of the world. And it's really this blinders on kind of mentality, or this pattern to put our head in the sand and say, oh, well, I'm just kind of worried about what I'm doing, my story and me. And this is what and women do that, right? And even men do that. So one of the components of what we wanted to talk about today too is like, why do we have this ongoing struggle with just opening our eyes for the women that can, in fact, the ones that do hold power, that even they sometimes put their heads down in the sand and say, well, and what are those dynamics? So what are some of those? And some of it we see is competition still, comparison energy, ego dynamics, still trying to be like men, to feel powerful, to rise above men. It's like literally distracted by where we've been, which I think is more past inertia of pain of women feeling so held down that now that they can rise, they still don't in the way that is serving of the whole, because they're like, there's a pain inside them that still says like, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe if I do rise up, then they'll see that. And so maybe I'll keep myself small, or maybe I will rise up, but then I'm going to be better then. So there's all these interesting, what we learn to help women heal from with the WSS, this also the internal struggle that is maybe even unconscious.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so that also needs to come into, I think, the experience
well,
here.
one of the things I hear often, especially when I do leadership training, is what do I do about that mean woman at work? What do I do about that mean woman at work who's trying to keep me down? You know, this woman, I was talking to her and she goes, this woman at work, she won't leave me alone. She's always asking me questions. She's, you know, constantly following me around, kind of observing what I'm doing. And she goes, I think she wants my job. And I stopped and I looked at her. I said, I don't know that she wants your job. Have you ever thought she wants to just learn from you? Because she sees you as someone who has great talents and abilities, and she just wants to learn from you. And she stopped and her mouth almost dropped open, because that's exactly what this woman was doing at work. She didn't want her job. She wasn't trying to change her position and take over the power of this woman. She literally was trying to learn, and because she saw her as someone who was a great role model. We can't become what we don't see and what we don't know about. I mean, this is part of it for women, and white women especially. And I'm gonna be a little bit, I'm gonna separate here a little bit, but white women especially do a lot of comparisons. You know, she's smarter than I am, she's better looking than I am, she's thinner than I am, she has a better home than I am. And you're right, you call it the comparison. We can't do that until we can stop and internally find our own self-awareness and self-love and self-esteem. We're not going to be able to look at other women and support them, especially if we believe they're better than we are. You know, one of the things I do with my podcast, the first question I ask them, tell me your story. Tell me where you've come from. Who am I talking to? The person. I'm talking to this person today, but how did you get to be the person that you are today? And it's amazing the number of women that I speak to, like yourself or others who have struggled. But we have to become more transparent and more vulnerable with each other and share our stories and really understand that we've all had our struggles. But you know, something about when we struggle and we try to work things out, it's a lot easier when somebody's on it. It just takes one person to stand by us and say, hey, you can do this, you got this, you can do this. I know those people have been in my life and I can see their faces now, but I can also see the faces of people who definitely try to keep me down. And this is what we have to do for women. We have to lift them up each day as we rise. And it's not that hard. It is not that hard. And I truly believe, Reagan, that if more women were in leadership positions today, we would be solving problems, we would be negotiating, we would not be in wars, we would not have poverty, there would be equal health care, there would be reproductive rights for everyone, and that we would be, you know, we would be a different world. It can happen. And we would love this world better, we would take care of it better. You know, we would, because we would have the ability that we would know if we're working together, that we understand the ground we're standing on is important for us to continue to live on as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Agreed. What came forward right now for me was that we really felt this, the power of how much true divine, beautiful light power will come into these leadership roles as women rise up from a non-wounded place, right? If it's coming from wounding, which is what we'd like to help women also heal, and in that support they might feel with each other, because a lot of the pain that we see on the planet is often between women. It's between men and women, but it's often between women. It's like mothers and daughters, right? And it's old, and we see it as the old past timeline again. I mean, what was it like then? Let's look at the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages. You know, it's like men hold the power. Women are kind of over there, you know, tell me what to do, tell me how to be. and then women competing for women, even to have like a place in the house with a man, right? Like they're like, in order to have a, like any kind of voice or feel safe, it was like, I need to get this man here because he's going to show me who I am. And he's the man is in charge.
Well,
Our voice doesn't matter. And
we've
so we
been
go
told-
into like
yeah.
now and same thing.
But women have been told, and then little girls are told, you know, all right, listen to this. I've watched this happen. Little girls are princesses. They have to be taken care of. Little boys they're rough and tough and they need to be powerful. But little girls, sweet little girls need to be taken care of. I watched a mother and she had 3 daughters, and she walked over and she bought 3 princess hats, and she put a princess hat on one, a princess hat on the second one, and a princess hat on the third. And I looked at her and I thought, does she even know what she's doing? By creating princesses, what does a princess need? She needs a prince.
Mhm.
And I think this is part of, especially for white women, is that somehow I'm not complete with someone who's going to take care of me. I will be alone. I will never amount to anything. And so again, education, number one. But when women, I mean, I've seen it and over and over again, when one woman supports another one, anything is possible.
Mhm.
I mean, you're education wise, you know, you're smart, you're intelligent, you have a great voice. Come sit at the table with me. Come sit right next to me at this table. You have such great ideas. Share them with us all. It's not really that hard. It's not that hard. It's a practice that we each should have every day of our life. You could call 3 women today. You could pick up the phone right now and someone that you have known. And if you called her up today and said, you know what, I was thinking about you today. And I was just thinking about the amazing talents and abilities you have. And that woman on the other end of the phone would just be going, oh my gosh, you would make her day. You would literally make her day. And maybe some of the things that she didn't think she was good at, or she didn't think she could accomplish, she said, yeah, I can do that. I can go out and I can do that. And that's what we need as far as representation right now. These elections coming up, if you have a candidate in your community and you know about them, you need to go out and vote for them, encourage them, do whatever you can to make sure that their voices are heard, because their voice is your voice. And I think that's what we forget sometimes when we create when we have this representation. These people are there to speak for us. They're not there to speak for themselves. They're being voted into these seats and these representation to help us all. And you and I both know women are going to look at their community. They're going to look around and go, we need better streets. We need better safety in our community. We need better water and all the above. We need better education. But we're going to see the big problems, and we're going to see the small details that we need to take care of those problems.
We've heard you say that a couple of times, which is where we kind of get into these more kind of the unique, wonderful attributes of women that might be brought into leadership. And we heard you say that before, how they see the bigger pressing problems, let's say, and then the minor details.
Yeah.
And so we would say that kind of goes into that whole idea that women are excellent multitaskers. We simply do have unique, different energy systems than men. And that's where we get into how important would it be to have both at the seat, and that they're consciously collaborating.
We can't do it without everybody.
Like, right? Like a 50-50, like we're really working together here.
And well, we've talked about this before. We all have male and female characteristics, but when we bring those all to the table, you know, men really want to help. You know, what I found with a lot of men that I've talked to is that we just tell us how to help.
Mhm.
Tell us what you need. Tell us what you, and then when people start saying, well, this is what I need from you, and then for me to help, this is what I need for you, then that dialogue, that whole conversation becomes totally beneficial to everyone. And everybody walks away from the table. It's a win-win. Everybody wins.
Yeah, so I love what you're sharing, and we so agree, and we feel that sometimes with our own husband, right? Like at home here, and it feels like, you know, we enter into a conscious collaborative space, which happens with that, right? There's an appreciation for us being unique in the ways that we are, men and women, if we could get more into a deeply appreciative, understanding, empathetic space, I think, with each other, and understanding how we do bring different things to the table, which has not been what has been going on this planet, has been like a competitive comparison dynamic between men and women, and we see men and women, right? Like feeling
Well,
less to the other, trying to be like one another, not understanding one another, creating conflict, just competitive, dense energy in their systems, and not being able to work together.
Yeah.
So kind of
Well,
like women
let's-
over here and men over there, and not
Yeah.
coming together.
let's talk about one more variable, which is very important, and it's money. You know, women have a very unusual view of money. You know, I have talked to women about this before, but money is a vehicle. But you know, one of the fastest growing trends is women are going to have more wealth in the United States than they've ever had. As you said, they're over 50% of the population. As women are aging and women are becoming more seasoned, they're acquiring more wealth as well. What are they doing with it? What are they doing with their wealth? What if we got all these women together with all this wealth and began to say, here are the crucial issues that we need to solve? And those women came to that table, all sat at that table with all the wealth. I mean, we're talking trillions of dollars that women are going to have available for their to help, to take care of themselves, and to help their communities, and to help the world. But if they were there at that table and they were asked those questions and said, here's what we need from you, here's what we need for you to do to help, I mean, it would be amazing. But you know, women have a very unusual, they don't even negotiate for the jobs. The first thing a guy he goes into a job and he goes, all right, let's negotiate my salary, and then let's negotiate my my leave, my vacation time, and then let's negotiate when I'll get my first promotion. Women walk in and they've got more education, and they're thinking they need more experience, and they don't ask for what they deserve as far as their pay scale. They don't ask for promotions, and they don't negotiate. So women getting a better attitude about money was because money's a vehicle. That's all it is. It allows doors to open that possibly are going to make huge changes for everyone. But but negotiated. We have to feel that we are deserving. We have to feel that we are valued. But unless it starts with our own views of ourselves. You know, if I don't think I'm worth it, and if I don't think, you know, I'm not going to get anything done in this lifetime. If somebody offers me something, well, I just don't think I deserve that. I don't deserve to be happy. Why would I want to be, you know, that just doesn't make sense to me. So I think women need to stop qualifying about what happiness is and whether they deserve it or not. They're unique, they're special. Everyone is unique and special, has talents and abilities that we came into this world with. So why don't we use them? And why don't we feel like we're deserving, and we deserve happiness and self-esteem as much as the next person, male or female?
Thank you for sharing that. That's so true. Absolutely. And it's interesting you're saying about the money component. Absolutely. And we see that clearly. And there's been a lot of that going on the planet where women just feel that, you know, the man supposedly holds the power, holds the seat, and they deserve to get paid better. And that is a belief that's been held in women's systems for some time, whether they know it's in there or not, right? It's like whether it's a conscious or unconscious belief, but it's been in there.
Yeah,
and
if I walked
really
into a company, but if I walked into a company and they said, this is going to be your salary, and I go, okay, well, what is he making? What is he making? And then they tell me, well, he's not, and I've heard this before, by the way, well, he's making more because he has a family to support. And I've gone, I mean, I actually got a man, I went in for a position, and I said, well, what am I going to make? And he said, well, you don't need the money because you're married and have a husband. He's married and has a wife and children to take care of. See, that is the mentality and then women go, oh yeah, that must be right. That must be accurate. But the point is it doesn't matter. We deserve the same pay scale. We do the same jobs. Why not get paid the same rate and the same amount? Why not?
There is no reason why not.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I mean, geez, I mean, why shouldn't I be paid what you're paid? You know,
well, you made a great point though, which is that women have accepted that as normal for some time, and it is not. And of course it's not. And Has it felt like it was? And why did it feel like it was? At some point, it would be dangerous to have spoken up like that. And there's a timeline where we were part of it. If you said, well, I want to, oh, really? Well, then you might lose your life today. So we've come from that wounding, and it's created these unserving, limiting beliefs, right? So we need to like let those go and see the truth, right? And it's like we work with our own daughters on this at times, you know, it's like, sweetie, like go to this friend who's being unkind to you at school and say, I don't like how you're speaking to me. And say it to this boy who says, you know, you're this and that. And I don't, you know, kind of a form of, you know, some sort of a little bit of bullying, really.
Yeah.
And you can see how it's for one of my daughters has felt very challenging to stand up, because you can almost feel the past of literally being in this little girl's body, a woman's body at some point, of this old energy that's been filtering through women for such a long time. So here we are now, and it's gotten to the point, which is what we're talking about today, where it's really affecting our planet in a very detrimental way, right?
Yeah.
We are in the middle of a climate emergency.
Yeah.
So our conversation is beyond crucial, and we hope that this reaches a whole lot of women, and we will plan to get it out there as much as possible, because more conversations like what we're having and then help women get access to the education, the funding, the empowerment of this message to know that their voice does matter and that they should get equal pay and representation, and the government is absolutely
stand up for the rights of their bodies and other women's bodies or anybody's body. My body's my body. It's not your body, and you shouldn't have anything to say about, well, why should any government have anything to do or say about what goes on in my body? I mean, it's beyond me. And right now, that's a crucial issue, because we have to get through that. We're gonna, you know, I think Google and Facebook, by the way, have both said publicly that they will help women, whatever they need to do, whatever their choices are. They will literally finance and make sure that they're able to receive whatever treatment they need anywhere in the United States of America. So there are businesses, and those are the things that we need, large corporations that understand just exactly what we're talking about, which is climate control, climate change, and what we need to do, but also understanding we have to start with the person. We have to understand what each person needs and be able to, you know, like I said, the bigger and the better and the broad, I mean, the more self-esteem and the grander people are, the better they're going to be able to help. So we've got to think about basics first. And once they're fed, they have food on the table, they have safety and security, they have education, and they have good health care, anything is possible. But we've got to also take care of people. It starts with all of it. It's relationships. Right now, it's climate change and climate control, but it's also about relationships. When we can actually look at one another and say, how can I help you? Reagan, how can I help you today? What is it you need that I can do to help you? Wouldn't that be just wonderful if everyone just asked one another, what can I do to help you? And then you told me what, and then later on I turned around and said, but Reagan, I need your help now. Because I know anytime I've ever asked for help in my life, that has come back to me threefold. Every time it comes back to me. Anytime I reach out and show someone something that they need, or they ask me something and I'm able to help. And you've done that over and over again too. And that's what we're talking about today. How can we help? You know, asking people to help now, and that's what we're asking them to do. But they have to take care of themselves and each other as well. We have to take care of this world, but we have to take care of each other.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's so true. And there has been a long time here coming for women to start supporting one another, as the beautiful work that you're doing in the world. And it's so important. And thank you for bringing it to the planet in the way that you have, connecting women for good and helping women support each other in a non-competitive way, right? Which is like, it's like very new for some women, since they're like, are you just trying to help me? Like no strings attached. Like you need something from me
over and over again. Watch the actual surprise on their faces.
Yeah, wow. It's just
I did. I actually had a woman. I said, well, how can I help you? And the voice, I was on a phone call with her, and the phone, I thought I lost connection. And finally, this little voice said, you mean you want to help me? And I said, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. And that changed my whole idea about how simple sometimes things can be. Yes, I want to help you.
And so beautiful. And who knows and what you're going to hear on the other line of the phone, on the other end of the phone, and and that we will have that what they need, you know, and that there will be, hopefully they ask, and that more women will be able to say what they're asking for, because that has been that lack of empowerment in their voice to say what they even want, right? Like they choose, like, could you help me? And they're like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not even used to being asked, nor know what I even would choose to ask for. And if we can help women get to the place where they not only know, yes, I deserve to be asked, I deserve to be asked, and I even can hear what is optimal to share, and then ask for it, and then actually receive that assistance. That's empowerment in so many ways, right? And then from there, right, they get what they need, the resources they need, the support, the care, and that has been a huge lack on the planet today. So we hope that truly is, you know, the door that opens to what is to be held in the future, which could be so incredibly helpful for the planet in so many ways. I mean, it's really going to balance the scales across the globe. And then we do hope as well that, and really trust and have faith that from there, once the door opens and women do feel more empowered and their voice does start to ignite, that their ability to stand in the room with a man, as you said, right? Like in the face of a job or a position or a leadership position, or even possibly moving into politics or the government, that there is no part of their system that wavers or cowers down or submits to that energy and says, no, I'm good here. I am equal. We are equal here.
I deserve to be at this table.
I deserve to be at this table. We are equal. And there's no part of me that feels anything less than that. And so we do have those that are in the leadership positions, and we just have women across the globe that are in these impoverished communities that just get enough assistance that they also can learn about the climate emergency and the little ways that they can help. And that's what we see at the WSS, that everyone every day could be doing something to help with the climate emergency. And if that was the case, then we would have a much healthier planet where our species are not dying rapidly and the oceans aren't dying, and millions of people are currently dying each year from the climate emergency. So we would help this planet heal, right? We would, and this planet in itself, we could begin to restore. And so we are so grateful for this conversation, and so grateful for the work that you've done in the world. It has been something I know you've done for quite some time, and it is really, truly so awesome to be here with you today.
Yeah. Well, the work is not done. We have more work to do. But if we continue to build these communities of like-minded men and women coming together to make these amazing changes and doing it, like I said, I say it over again, we're in this together, but we do have more work to do. And organizations such as yours and mine, when we work together and we join with other organizations that are doing similar things to make this world a better place, boy, this place could be so much better. So much.
Very much agreed to that. Yes. And thank you so much. We look forward to further collaborating with you, Dr. Nancy. And we're just going to keep on working. We're going to keep on. And it really is a day-to-day, moment-to-moment process. And every day counts, you know? So we're so grateful for you. And thank you so much.
Yeah. Wonderful talking with you. And let's just keep going. We've got other work to do, but we're going to find more and more people along the way on the same path, the same journey that can help us as well.
Thank you.